Studio Series 1984 Bumblebee gets one last hurrah in a how-to Transformers video. So, not needing the instructions here, let's put them aside because again, the instructions aren't clear on a few things and they missed a few steps as well. So let's not confuse anybody and let's do it the right way. Well, I'm not saying my way is the right way, I'm just saying, you know, it's my preference. Your results could be different. Anyway, as I go about removing his blade here, which is very tight on his forearm, put that aside. Remove his battle mask, put that aside. Come back here and remove his forearm cannon, which is tabbed in very tight this time around. Retrieve said forearm cannon and put that aside. So now that we got all his weapons out of place, let's do this. First thing we're going to do is fold up his hands and then bring up his arms. Come back here and we'll go ahead and fold out the wings. Flip that up and tab it in. Flip up, tab this in like so. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and untab the correctly transformed backpack here. Simple, just pry it back just a little bit until it just untabs like that. Now don't worry, I've done this plenty of times as it is and nothing has stress, nothing has chipped. Let's flip out all these panels here. There we go. Let's rotate these properly so now his pecs are in place. And this is looking good, looking really good. The next thing we're going to do is now we're going to work with the legs. Yeah, I know, we're doing parts here and there at a time. I know, it's very confusing, isn't it? Right. No, it's not. Anyway, what you can do is you can now angle his feet like that. Make sure they're lined up with his shins, just like that. So this has come undone. Come back here and undo this area here. And then line this up just like the other foot. Like that. There we go. Alright, so this slider joint, which the instructions do not mention, again, what you want to do to reset it so you can go back to vehicle form is you want to take it and bring it down as far as it can go down. If you didn't see it, I'll show it again. See that joint right there next to the pin? Boop. See that? There you go. Right. So now that that's all taken care of, what we're going to do next is we're going to rotate the waist, just like that. So now all this is in this right placement here. We're going to come down here and we're going to tab in the back section of the car. And then all this should correspond as well. These legs should tab into one another. There are two tabs right here. They're going to correspond right here with this slot right here. We're going to fold it up. Past this very first slot, we're going to go for the middle one. The second one, basically. And if done correctly, it should just slide right into place. Just like that. There we go. And this is the point where you want to adjust things. Just to make sure everything is nicely flush, because if not, you could have a little bit of some trouble here. Come to the front, untab his pecs, and then what we're going to do is we're going to fold them up, just like that. Now let's go ahead and make some room here. For the whole front section of the car is going to come down right here, and it should tab in place. Next thing you want to do is you want to take his arms, and on this hinge here you want to bring them in just like that. Go ahead and rotate just like this. And then what we can go ahead and do now is just make sure we tab in the wheels. So they should tab in if they are aligned properly, like so. Tab this whole front section back into place if it came undone, and it's known to do that, alright? I will say that transforming this thing is a little bit of a challenge. especially in this area. So what we're going to do next is probably the hardest part about this figure, is we want to get that clear peg right there and right there. On the doors, they are going to tab in right here to that slot on his thigh, which is easier said than done, in all honesty. And if you got everything lined up, it should slot in pretty easy. Make sure the front's tabbed in just right, because then this section here is going to slot in to the doors just like that. Rotate this around while still holding these doors in place with your thumb, and just make sure everything is perfectly connected as best as you can. Then we're gonna, what I like to do is I like to take my middle finger and my thumb, hold down the door still, and keep my pointer finger on top of it so it all stays in place here, because this is pretty much the last part, minus the hands here, and we'll work on that as soon as we get this done. But this is also the ultimate challenge, because if this doesn't go in right, everything comes undone from the doors and the top of the car. So you want to slot it in very slowly. It's not going to be a perfect flush connection, as no one has that on their Bumblebee figure just yet. From all the video reviews that I've seen, everyone has that complication. Apparently, I missed something here. This door, or should I say the window to the door, isn't tabbed out all the way. That would explain why this actually came undone. Yeah, there's a tab right there that's supposed to pass over. And now that I put this back in place here, hopefully I'll be able to get a second chance at this. I'm going to have to undo this section here. And once again, make sure all this is lined up just right. Thumb, middle finger, pointer finger, holding all this in place. Let's try this again. Slide it up, and this should hold it very securely in place if done correctly. Just remember that. So, there we go. Okay, so you have to give it a little bit more of a push on the sides here in order to get that in place, and there we go. Well, that's pretty much Bumblebee there. All we gotta do next is, well, this actually untabbed. It's bound to happen, people. It's gonna happen to you a lot. It took me a good hour or two to actually get this perfectly transformed, and it can be done very quickly over time. So, anyway, now that all this is pretty much flush and right in place, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna take his arms and bring them down. This little tab here is going to go into a little slot right there, right where my finger's pointing at. You may not be able to see that too well, but it's going to go right in there and push. Bring this arm down like so. Do the same thing. Push it in. There we go. Now that that's tabbed in place, just pretty much adjust everything to your liking here and readjust this area because that didn't tab in too well. Again, a little bit of a challenge here, but it can be done, as I'm showcasing here, without any force and without the hammer of despair. Right, so the only other thing to do, really, is to take all of his weapons and put them in the rightful place as instructed here. So we take his blade here and we put that in right there. And his battle mask, well, not an easy fit here, but it can be done. It's supposed to slot in the front. So once again, it's playing Peekaboo, I See You with Bumblebee's face. Again, a little bit of a challenge here. Wow, this is actually becoming the hardest part of the actual transformation. Why aren't you going in there? There we go. Alright, so now that that's all taken care of, just readjust everything to your liking. Make sure the arms are tabbed in place. Make sure the top of the car is tabbed in place. Make sure all this back here is as best as you can get it. Again, it's not going to be a perfectly flush. There's going to be some panel showing, and it's a toy. What do you expect? But regardless, there we go. So, 10 minutes later, yeah, believe it or not, 10 minutes. Wow. Here is Bumblebee in his 1984 Volkswagen Beetle mode. And again, an amazing figure. I've given my praise about it. You know the whole song and dance if you've seen my spotlight review on the guy already. If not, I'll leave it down below and a link in the description where you can check it out, because a lot of people are really talking about this one. This is the shot heard around the world, or at least for this channel here. Haven't had this much attraction in quite a long time, and for those who have actually subscribed to this channel because of that video, well, hopefully I'll be able to keep the fire going somehow, some way, because I am not a professional at what I do. I am not a sponsored person here by other companies, so I don't get this stuff for free. Anyway, I was able to pick up this guy on Galactic Toys. I checked their store. They don't have this figure in stock anymore, but they still got the repaint of Ratchet from his Dark of the Moon colors. So be on the lookout. They might restock this guy very shortly, but for now, he's out of stock, not available. So I'm sorry I was late to answering your questions on how I got this guy. But as it stands right now, you should already know that, because everybody that's reviewed this figure on YouTube has pretty much said the same dealio. So there you go. So, you know, I am what I am. I'm an unprofessional, and I'm embraced by that. So that's why I don't fail. Anyway, that's going to do it. So questions or comments, you know what to do. Hit it down below in the comment section of the video. If you liked today's video, hit the thumbs up button. And don't forget to give me a sub up. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down. Don't forget to throw in the towel. And until then, this is the Unprofessional Toy Reviewer, Red as Power, signing off, saying thank you very much for watching this, and I'll see you whenever you see me.